All right, today we're going to talk about a really powerful mental model. It's for anyone who wants to build, create, or just do great work, really. It's a fundamental shift in how you see your time and your energy, and it's called the production mindset.
And this quote from Paul Graham, it just gets right to the heart of it. It's such a simple question, but it has these massive implications. It's not just about what you're doing, it's about the mode you're in. Are you an active creator or are you a passive recipient? That one distinction is pretty much the core idea for our entire explainer today.
So here's how we're going to break this all down. We'll start with that core distinction, then we'll dive into the mindset of a maker, take a look at their actual process, and finally, talk about what might be the most critical step of all, why you have to ship your work.
Okay, let's jump right in. What does the split between producing and consuming actually look like in the real world?
This lays it out pretty clearly, right? On one side, you have all the consumer stuff, passively taking things in. On the other, the producer activities, where you're actively creating value. But, there's a really sneaky trap here. It's called type B procrastination. That's when you do stuff that feels productive, like endless research or tweaking tiny details, but you're really just avoiding the hardest, most important problems. A true production mindset isn't just about being busy. It's about tackling those big, tough challenges head on. So here's the bottom line. Producing isn't just an activity. It's literally the engine of value creation. When we talk about creating wealth, it's not some weird abstract thing. At its core, wealth is just something that people want. And the only way to create that is to make it. Okay, so we get the what, producing versus consuming, but the how is just as important, if not more so. I mean, it's one thing to know the difference, but it's a whole other thing to actually adopt the mindset. So what does it really mean to think like a producer? It always starts right here, with genuine curiosity. Think of it like your internal compass. Instead of trying to force some startup idea you think will be popular, the maker's mind follows what is genuinely interesting to them. That curiosity, that's your best guide for finding the problems that are actually worth solving. Now, this is a really key skill for makers. It's about getting into this state of deep, uninterrupted focus, where the project, whether it's code or design, whatever, it basically becomes an extension of your own mind. When you can hold that entire system in your head, you start to see all these connections and possibilities that are totally invisible when you're just scratching the surface. And what's really cool is that this isn't just some abstract idea. There's a practical guide to getting into that deep mental state. It's about being aggressive, about avoiding distractions, working in these long focused blocks of time, and just constantly rewriting and refining your work until it's so clean and clear that it fits entirely inside your head. So you've got the mindset. You know how to get into that state of deep focus. But what does the day-to-day process of production actually look like? I'll give you a hint. It is not neat and tidy.
This famous line from E.B. White, it's the key to everything. He was talking about writing, of course, but this idea that the real work happens in the refinement, that's the fundamental truth of all creation.
And this just illustrates the point perfectly. Great things aren't born fully formed. They come out of a messy, iterative process. You start with something that's probably broken, and you just gradually, relentlessly beat it into shape. It's a process of refinement, not revelation. And think about it. The way we're taught to work in school is pretty much the complete opposite of how great things are actually made. School teaches you to come up with a thesis and then defend it. Reality, on the other hand, teaches you to start with a messy sketch and discover the thesis as you go. The maker figures it out as they write it. This is such a fantastic metaphor for startup strategy. You run upstairs by deliberately choosing the hard problems. A consumer might just avoid the stairs, but a producer knows that difficult terrain is a massive strategic advantage. See, what's hard for you as a small, nimble team is often nearly impossible for a big, slow competitor. That's where you can outmaneuver the giants. So you've done the work, you've wrestled with those hard problems, you've refined your creation. So what? What's the point of all of this? What's the actual end goal? This gets to the core motivation for producers. They aren't just building for the fun of it, they're driven by this deep desire to make an impact. A startup environment is so appealing because it just removes all the barriers between creating something and releasing it. You can literally have an idea in the morning and get it into users' hands by the afternoon. And let's take that a step further. Shipping isn't just the last item on your to-do list. For a true maker, it's a fundamental part of their identity. These artists, and that can be in any field, they have a compulsion to get their work out into the world. If you stop them from shipping, well, you're not going to have any artists working for you. And this slide really gets to the heart of why shipping is so non-negotiable. It's the ultimate test, right? Until your work is in the hands of users, value is just a theory. Shipping is what turns your private effort into a public reality. It's the only way to get real feedback, to let the market help shape your product, and to actually make a difference. So, to bring it all together, if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. That single shift in perspective from being a consumer to becoming a producer, that is the engine that drives everything we've talked about, from your initial curiosity all the way to your final impact.
And with that, I'll just leave you with a question to carry with you for the rest of your day. Thanks for watching.